Well, for more, we can cross to Jerusalem and speak to our correspondent, Irris Makler. Hello to you. Irris, it's been a very tense week. It seems each successive day there's been an escalation.
Mm.
Tell us more.
That's right. It's been an interesting week on both sides of the line. Let's look at Hezbollah. It's been one of the worst weeks for them militarily, perhaps, in decades, actually. Some say ever. Everyone's attention was focused on those two extraordinary days when the comms equipment, first the pagers and the walkie-talkies, exploded, injuring the people who were holding them. But really, the most damaging thing, perhaps, was the airstrike Friday in Beirut, in the Dahya, the area controlled by Hezbollah in southern Beirut. And that was significant because it was 16 of the top commanders of Hezbollah. They were there having only made the decision to hold the meeting there the day before. They went, they had to meet because they couldn't have any comms that wasn't face to face. And at that meeting, they were targeted and assassinated. So it's a sign of Israel's intelligence superiority, but it's also something that demands a response from Hezbollah. Now, it could take two steps. It could take a step back or it could take a step up. It's decided to take a step up. And so what we're seeing now is these attacks as far south as Haifa. We're seeing increased Israeli airstrikes inside southern Lebanon, targeting rocket launchers. But still, it's not an all-out war. And I guess the question is, what happens next? Because at the moment, each side has taken a step up. Can they hold it at that level? Will it remain a war of attrition like it's been till now? Or will they drag or force each other into a much, much graver conflict in which, by the way, all the assessments say thousands, if not tens of thousands, could die on both sides?
Yeah, and in the past hour, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he would not tolerate attacks after rockets were fired from Lebanon. This does not seem to be ending. So, Iris, tell us, what are the factors that we need to keep an eye out for that will either lead to an all-out war or to de-escalation?
Well, let's just look at the two parties. Can they maintain it at this level? Could some event, some unintended event, for example, either side killing a large number of civilians, would that push this from a measured, each side measured, increasing but measured, into something larger? There's also international factors. Let's look at who is supporting Israel. We know what Washington's view is. Washington doesn't want an escalation here and a regional war, especially so close to its election. We know that other European countries, including France, with its long history with Lebanon, are also against an escalation and counselling diplomacy. What does Iran say to Hezbollah? That's the wild card. We don't know the answer to that. We do know that many of the long-range rockets that are held in Lebanon by Hezbollah are actually for the protection of Iran in case of a nuclear attack or an attack on its nuclear facilities. Will Iran be willing to sacrifice those rockets for a war with Israel? We don't know the answers to that, but it is interesting that we've heard calls for action from the Iranian president and the Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei within the past 24 hours. But it is also worth remembering that when there was an Israeli attack against the Palestinian leader inside Tehran at the end of July, there was not an Iranian military response. So we have to hope that the two sides can be held apart by international pressure, if not their own decisions.
All right, Iris, thank you very much. Irris Makler reporting from Jerusalem.